My apologies, folks. There we go. That should be good. Alright, so sorry about that. But we are in the game now, and I think that should be everything. Once again, sorry for the late start. I had a problem with my audio setup. That would let me go out at first. But indeed, Mousesports will go out now to take mid control there. Shutting down Rain. They followed up with another one. That's Dennis grabbing the kill this time. Kiyoshima shuts out Nico. So Mousesports get that early mid control. They didn't spot the AZ though. That little sneaky kill there. He does manage to only grab one with it before Oscar responds, and will take him out through mid. Shuts out both Chris J and Dennis. Now leaving Oscar and the only man standing here for the side of Mousesports. And again, things are looking good for FaZe. But you can tell from these final two that they are going to be split up here now. Both Shima finds that final shot. He'll take down Oscar there, and that will net the round over, as we will get into a pause here now. Probably for tactical reasons at this point. It'd be a bit early to be going for a tactical pause of this nature. But we shall see indeed, as Mousesports now, off of that round, should have enough cash to go into the buy on the next round, and obviously FaZe, with plenty of their own cash, won't be a problem for them to go for it either. But this is now the semifinals for those that are curious about the current status of this event. We will be jumping back into things pretty quickly there. Like I said, probably just a small issue. FaZe taking their last phase of this event by going up against the guys from Godsent, and then also we saw the guys from Mousesports take a 2-0 victory, I believe it was, which is their push just earlier against Gambit there. So knocking out Gambit, and again Godsent getting knocked out of the qualifier for another event. So unfortunately, they're not going to be making it through this time. We can see Mousesports, like I said, got the first 3 rounds. FaZe though with a fast trade, and after dropping the map earlier against the guys from Godsent, at the moment FaZe doing a good job of trying to bring it back. But some close rounds indeed. So they're not making it easy. Mousesports going for that mid control once more now. They won't be able to spot all that much here. FaZe do fall back. Kind of hand over the immediate control of the area. They're going to be focused on containment rather than trying to shut these guys down from the actual area. You can see again that after they get that control, they do actually fall back, since Nico has kind of made all this progress, wrapping himself over there, getting himself just outside of the T-ramp. For AZ, along with Kiyoshima, sitting in this site, waiting for this push to come through. Also having Alu positioned just a little bit further back. Some of these guys, but we can see now that they are getting ready to sort of explode out onto the bomb site. They are going to leave themselves a decent amount of time, but it's good utility usage overall from the side of Mousesports. FaZe are being fairly passive at the way they approach this, so they kind of let them in. Chris J hunting for more, and there's a good pop flash toss to the back. Alu can't do anything about that, and Chris J just walks right in and wrecks 2 of them back to back. Both Kiyoshima and Alu both go down. AZ though with a good timing on this peek. He picks up 1, but it doesn't last for long. Dennis catches the fast trade, shuts down AZ. Now we just have those final 2 on the CT side, and they're already well on their way to saving. With Rain and Jacob want nothing to do with this one. Sports are going to trade out this round finally. And they will bring themselves up to 4 rounds as well to bring us into a tie situation. And for FaZe, the problem is that, I mean, we can kind of see this by the money, with the exception of Kiyoshima. They never really established that good of a precedent for their economy. So most of these guys are going to go right back into a save territory here. And it's going to be up to a big choice whether they want to actually go for a save or just keep this together. And at the moment, with these 2 rifles in play, they may be able to justify it. And we'll wait and see in a minute here. Hey, Jacob, look like they're making it out alive. Mousesports, unfortunately, won't be able to hunt those guns down too well. So they want to try to go for it here just to keep the lead checked. They'll certainly have the option to do so, and it looks like that'll be the case. Big pickups indeed from the side of FaZe, and they're just going to spend everything they have to try and get back into this round, really prevent Mousesports from taking over the scoreboard. Again, it's going to be aggressive on middle from the side of FaZe, as AZ looks to slowly push up. The problem is, though, is that there's a trap waiting for him just on the other side of this one. Him and Rain pushing against Speedy, who sits on the other side, and Speedy's also got help from Oscar, too, peering down that very short angle, waiting for aggression to peek its ugly head around the side of top mid. But FaZe ended up calling that off before any aggression was even thrown in that direction. Allen moves himself over there to look for those opening kills, but again, nothing to be seen in this event. Nothing really to be spotted here. And as Chris J also hunts too, he finds himself a little tiny one way through this smoke. It'll be fading soon, but what he doesn't spot there is Jacob jumping over. Nicely found by Jacob. Smoke works in the other direction too, and with that, he's going to punish Chris J to be able to eliminate him. Mousesports jet ahead once. Mousesports jet behind. Once again to the power of FaZe. Well, they just sit back and wait for this execute, which, well, he's going to roll right into that B bomb site, but still no rotations. It's still just Jacob and Rain here to hold things. Jacob, they're doing a fantastic job of peeking bout out. He's found a second kill. Speedy gets trade, and now it's all on Rain, but he too is in a good position. One trader, one more pickup, and he finds a second against Dennis. So it all goes into Nico's hands. Fast flick to find Alu there first, but 3 more to go. And again, no real control to work with here. Try and catch these guys off guard. These are all fully aggressive frags. He's found on the right side by Rain. And the trade round rolls in. FaZe pick it up. They go 5-4. That resets the losing bonus here for Mousesports now after stacking it up for so long. Saving the CT economy as well, keeping them in a fairly well-off position. Obviously keeps their economy in a good enough spot to buy, which sometimes been very problematic here, but it's the T's that are kind of struggling, working from the back. That is where we will see Mousesports having to go for right now, as they don't even pressure on this round. They just sit back, and AZ with that nade, that can do so much damage. Look at it, just destroys everybody on the side of Mousesports. Dennis, Nico, Speedy, Chris J, all get hit by that. And Nico and Chris J are almost instantly killed by it. Now it's just chucking these guys down and really trying to finish them off. As Hiroshima, well, he tries to counter out this push from Oscar, but Oscar finding the quick push eliminates that. The rest, however, have gone down fairly easily. That Rain is going to catch that final kill there for FaZe, getting it up to 6-4. Mousesports taking the sink behind, but definitely keeping a close contest here with Dennis and Chris J, along with Oscar, really getting the frags for this team. Speedy so far the only one that we're really not seeing a big performance out of. He's kind of the same thing. Seeing Rain, who was also the big player when we saw this map being picked as well last time against the Godsend. The big man on the field there too. Unfortunately, wasn't able to shine so well as the rest of his team. Wasn't really up to plate until the second map. And we'll see Alan once again starting to peek out there, looking for those early frags, but there's not a whole lot to be found in mid. The only one player that's really going to be here is Nico. The rest kind of push their way back in the ramp, and it's a quick 1-for-1 there. The bomb goes down, so they know it's rolling into this site. And there's going to be the flank from Nico. There's where the mid pressure comes in for him. He shuts down Alu. Alu picks up one more frag from up on top, and it'll go into a 3-on-3 post-plant scenario. There's a counter flank they'll line up from AZ. You can see he's sitting way outside of the ramp area there. Going to push himself back in. He's sitting on the other end of this one, and Jacob immediately punishes the players up on top. He even finds a second one too, so Nico, honestly, trying to wrap himself around here very quickly too to get in a position to stop this defuse, but not a whole lot for him to spot here as Jacob has held it back quite as they know he's sitting right outside of there. Look at it. They're just going to nade the crap out of him. He won't be getting anything done. And it's another successful round from FaZe. Now, of course, is where we really start to see that CT side kind of like bloom for these guys. Sports are still working, unfortunately. Not a whole lot, although some team damage going off there early in the round. Only going to losing about 7 HP though, so not a big deal, but there's going to be fast mid presence yet again from Mousesports. And not only that, but AZ, he's got the book read. Was right up the Speedy there, shuts him down. Now they're going to try to punish this one too. The jumping scout from Nico, punishing AZ down to 12 HP. A good trade indeed, but the problem is it's baiting all these guys out towards mid, and Alu is here in the mid connector to try and dish back some of that punishment just as good onto the members of Mousesports, and he's done so quite nicely. Nico now, after getting hit by that nade at 3 HP, Oscar also being eliminated, and this combined with the early push that AZ got to shut out Speedy has not left the guys from Mousesports in a very good position. And now we've got Rain peeking out again, not even necessarily going to be needed with Alu going for those sorts of peaks. Indeed, still follows it up. Nice control indeed being maintained here from FaZe Clan. And now Mousesports sitting in the back there. Here's some of your last ones up and running. Rain shuts it down. FaZe will win another one on a pretty hot streak at this point. 4 in a row. Same as when they first started to pick things up, and Mousesports are starting to fall behind. This is an advantage regardless of the outcome of the last 3. For FaZe starting off on their CT side, now it's really just them trying to deny as many gun rounds as possible from Mousesports' side to keep that money low. And of course, keep the round share much, much higher in the favor of FaZe. But once again, Mousesports splitting their players up a bit more than we've seen in some of the past rounds. It's been pretty even splits so far. Or probably just been pretty decisive splits so far, but this one is going to be a bit more even. It still won't matter though, because again, we have that aggressive pressure in mid. We saw this a lot back on Dust 2 as well, and they've continued it back over here now against a new opponent on Mousesports. They moved in, they found that first kill. Oscar finding yet another one though to trade out against Alu. That brings it even, and Nico just creeping in. Eliminates AZ, that takes him out of the picture. Nico waiting for more, and he's gonna find it. Kiyoshima pushing up there will get shut down. And both Rain and Jacob are now kind of stuck in their own respective areas of the map. This op being placed in Oscar's hands and just waiting at the moment by the window. The second we see Rain jumping down from this position is where things are gonna get very, very rough indeed. Is not really sure how Rain is going to plan to try and get the heck out of here, but he goes for it anyway, and it's actually at a perfect time when Oscar is not paying attention for that. So he's able to escape, he's able to get over the cross, they know exactly where he is, but Jacob also going to drop in there. Nico with a fast clothesline trade, cuts him down, but Rain moving out again though, brings him into a 2v1, and he's got both Oscar and Chris J so low, and they're both pushing T-Rip. That Molotov is perfect. Now he doesn't know this yet, but they can't really push that. They're going to go for it though. He hasn't spotted these guys yet. He's going to move in there, do a dual pank angle, but unfortunately, it actually looked like Oscar was not out in time. So he goes to the defuse, not expecting that second player. He gets the shot. He needs to jump on this bomb quickly, though. And Oscar knows it, so he's hiding back now, hoping he's going to fake this one, and he's correct about it. Tags it again, and Rain, no, he hasn't decided to stick it. So he leaves it. The time gets too low, and because he doesn't chase for that kill against Oscar, that's going to be the end of it. It's going to be a round for Mousesports. And Oscar doesn't even really have to do that much. He just has to sit back and wait. He runs down the timer. And with that, nets Mousesports another round. Finally, they pick one up. It's becoming a bit of a pattern here, as you can see. But FaZe, of course, with that 4-round streak, had no problem building up cash. So, again, it's going to be end of the rebuy for them. So Mousesports wasting no time to capitalize on this advantage, too. They're going to go for another fast type of play, and it works out. Rain finds himself in the open once more to a flashbang, and look at that from Chris J, leaping up inside of the dark room there, over towards the crawl space area to get into the window room, and he just immediately gets that spray over on the Alu. Oscar wasting no time following this up, and FaZe are just crumbling in this round. Pure all-out raw aggression from FaZe, and it's worked brilliantly. AZ along with Jacob are spread to either site. We are going to see AZ start us off. It doesn't last very long. He overpeaks towards connector, and that's where Oscar will find the punishment onto him, and it's all falling to Jacob now. In all reality, Jacob is just going to try to push himself here over into the apartments area. They've got watchful eyes, making sure that he doesn't escape through this route either, as they've gone for the plant in the A site, completely just bypassing B in its entirety. So Jacob will look to hold back and try to punish these players moving in towards him. However, ultimately, they haven't actually been able to scout him out just yet. Chris J down below, and they have Speedy positioned to watch for the exit outside of the other end of the back halls here. But they can't really stop him from going towards like T-spawn or anything like that, so he could escape through that route and get for free. But I think he's happy with just chilling here inside of the entrance, the T entrance I should say, to the apartments. He won't be moving, there's not really any reason to. They could really punish him would be Chris J, but he's not in a good spot to do that, so he carries that rifle into the next round. And I think with that, it's going to justify another buy-in for FaZe. Not a bad one either. Ali will get himself armor with the op as the op gets donated. And the M4, of course, gets tossed over to him. Apologies, Rain will, of course, just buy that for himself since he's been on quite a hot streak. But that buys out all of his money. And they're pretty much the remaining funds for these guys. So needing the impact here, of course. And I mean, on the last round now, really just wanting to try and give them the 9-6 scoreline so they have that edge. But this game's already looking way closer. And unfortunately for Kiyoshima, that's not going to be the best way to start it off. Oscar getting an immediate shot there on Kiyoshima, through to the smoke, punishing him. And again, another great edge for the Mousesports guys to work with. Now the rest still wrapped around at the top of mid again, trying to punish the aggression should it come, and it will come from Alu. If he peeks all the way around, he's gonna find it. Oh my goodness, he tags Dennis just off the edge, so it is gonna hit him. But no frag in itself. Only catches the 1 or 2 players that he might have spotted in the process of that. And now really just waits for the impending hit. He saw that he was crossing back over towards T. But beyond that, I'm not sure if he saw the others that were still stacked in that area. As the B side is not going to have anything thrown in its way. And there is still a pretty heavy semblance of FaZe players over here towards the middle area. But again, this is all to reposition. Alo's going to be setting himself over here towards the ticket booth. Daisy a little bit further back there too, can assist closer up on the site. There's Alu shutting out Oscar. And it's the T-ramp position that these guys are having trouble pushing from. Alu eliminating Speedy. Dennis finally catches a trade there. As we do see AZ trying to push his way out, but there's 2 players from Mousesports waiting for him. Everybody's on the way to this bomb, so they don't have time to change this hit. Another tag on a Dennis brings him down to 16 HP. Jacob waiting for this push to cross. There we go. The bomb eliminated once more. Chris J at just 2 with Rain finding Nico. There you go. Jacob shuts it down. It will be the 9-6 scoreline that FaZe wanted. A few bumps in the road, I guess we could say, and trying to climb to that point, but they do manage to piece it together. And overall, they hold that nice advantage against the Mousesports side of things. As Mousesports, of course, now on CT side, we've already been seeing how well the ops are working out for these guys, so I'm very curious to see how it transitions, hopefully with a lot more power now, onto this second half. We'll just wait, of course, for the teams to ready up. And then we can jump back into things, guys, as soon as the teams are ready to rock and roll, which, as you can tell by the clicking, there's a way to enable the chat. I always just forget how to do it, though. Or it might just wreck me, and I'm not able to do it. It's always a bit different, depending on who the server host is. But they get back into it pretty quickly anyway. So we will jump into the match, guys, and once more. FaZe now on the T side. Not a whole lot of utility being brought up. It's just Kiyoshima who's going to be rolling with it for FaZe, and the rest are going to buy armor. And pretty much the same exact story for Mousesports, as Speedy takes that sort of utility job of picking up the kit. And again, the same thing. The rest just go for the armor buys. That's the FaZe. Now moving up there. They do find that initial kill. They're going to drop down to the side. Speedy does respond by eliminating Jacob, but AZ with another quick kill against Nico. Moving up around the corner. Chris J looking for the hunting kill as well. He does find that one. But Speedy and Dennis now are both going to be stuck inside of the market area with no clear path outside. They're just going to push it, and it works good against AZ. He pushes him way back further in the site. But he's also finds a little USP on the ground there, too. He's going to be picking that up, just recovering it, and trust his teammates to handle it. And well, with that, FaZe get a very fast closeout on that one. And no, it's not that console command, by the way, that fixes the chat. It's something different on the servers, these servers, I should say. I just always forget what it is. Sometimes they just have it disabled outright, so you can't see it. But I don't really know how the stuff works. But I know it's not that chat command. Or that console command, rather. Not that dumb. I'm pretty dumb, but anyway. FaZe will just follow up their pistol round victory with a play over on over here on top mid. And they're wasting no time for it either. Oscar trying to get himself out, but that smoke is going to wreck him, prevent him from really doing anything else. At least finding that intel that he wanted to try and pick up there. And the rest of FaZe are just going to proceed up Cat, getting that easy control. Nico kind of sitting outside a connector there, but again, the same story. Smoke in the way, won't be able to spot anything. Chris J moves out though, catches a fast trade. Looking for more, just trying to hug the wall and bait him out, but AZ's had enough of waiting. Jumps in there, eliminates Chris J. Dennis taking some pot shots, hoping to find something there too. But the rest of FaZe also proceeding up to the site, and they've got Oscar sitting in that position, although he waits a very long time to actually react. And that will look somewhat comical. Push from Jacob as he moves in, not only punishes the player bench, but then follows it up with a final 2 as well. Jacob just styling on the opponents there, man. Easy 3 kills to end it. And Mousesports won't find anything on that second round at all, it seems, really. Beautiful, beautiful. And of course, this will take us into the trash run now, where probably isn't going to be that entertaining. It's 4 USPs and a P250. So essentially, if Mousesports win this round, there is something wrong with FaZe. As yeah, this is a round you shouldn't be losing, and I don't really need to explain that. But FaZe are gonna again do the same thing they did in that last round, just taking that top mid control. And And nicely done by Keo. Tapping away into the window room. He knows someone who's going to be hanging out there, looking at try and scout for some intel. Indeed, look at Jacob just leaping through here. Dennis had pushed his way either back down the tier rep or in through the palace area, but found out by AZ. And again, it's that USP, so nothing here. But Speedy does pick up a quick kill off of the bones of his fallen teammate there. Using him as a bit of bait. It's okay. Got him a kill. And then Rain now catching at least one of the final two. I'm not sure if they've spotted Speedy just yet, but he sits out and around the bend here. They've got them all boxed inside. And keep in mind, too, with the guns they have, it's not really like the biggest deal in the world these guys save. Oscar literally doesn't have anything to save. And Speedy just has like an SMG. So it won't be a huge deal. And Alu will actually move out here, too, just to try and restrict them from falling out a window. They've got them boxed. If they try to retreat from the site, they won't be getting anywhere unless they fight for it. But there's the peek from Oscar to start us off, and Kiyoshima's got it backed up. So Oscar goes down. And for Speedy here, he tries to push into the site, but he's even caught on the off angle by Alu too. So another very clean round from FaZe. Almost a team ace. Unfortunately, someone got a bit greedy. Picked up the second kill. Now, of course, this is where things matter. This is where all the fun begins. As we do get into the first gun round now. 5 AKs being picked up for FaZe. Mousesports, Chris J and Oscar going for the op-eyes, and we see that immediate double op setup too. Mousesports are not messing around. They want to try to find a way to get back into the smash, and I mean, they want to get this quickly by going for this double op setup. Keep in mind, it has sacrificed quite a bit of utility that they would have been able to use should FaZe play this slowly. But now the problem is they kind of have to try and figure out the difference between the actual execute from FaZe. One is just them kind of poking around at the beginning of it, as they do not have a whole lot of smokes to spare. I don't know this too, but when the actual hit comes, flashbangs and whatnot are going to be problematic. An even bigger degree. It's like nades and whatnot. There we go. Nico getting himself into that first battle, which he will win against Jacob. Didn't follow up just yet. Oh, Oscar, nicely done. Catching the bullets from Kiyoshima, moving their way out through the smoke. Shuts him down. Find where he's firing up from. Eliminates him. He tries to do it again a second time, but the timing on that push from AZ is a bit off, so he doesn't connect that shot. And also he's caught off guard by Rain, who pushes out. Dennis is there for the fast trade, though. It eliminates Rain. And it's just down to 2 from FaZe, where Speed is going to peek back out. Very well set up, you should mention, on Mousesports this time for trades. And it all comes down to AZ at the end of the day in a 1v2. If he grabs his kill on Speed, he's got a chance at it. And in fact, he does. Still 48 seconds to put the bomb on the ground. Tries to fake it. In the event, Chris J had been pushing over here, but he spotted Chris J now. Tries to get himself behind, and he's going to go for the plant, but at 35 HP, that's a bit risky. And in fact, he decides to disable the plant, just go out for that final duel. And with the wide peek, it is a duel which Chris J will handily win. It even denies him, the guys from FaZe of the extra $800 of post-plant money. But the good news is that that loss of the $800 isn't going to be the biggest deal in the world. Again, the main thing it's going to cost them will just be utility buys in the case of like Kiyoshima, Jacob, and Rain. The other two, though, still get full utility. What they have here, they should still be at a fairly okay position. Alu on the op. Now, granted, again, Alu hasn't been as loud as he has been in some of these past few maps, but we've seen him against Godsend here, and if he can go off once more, that could be the bells starting to toll a lot earlier for Mousesports. Move out once again, and a 1-for-1 trade will follow it. As the guys from FaZe just waltz right onto that B site. Only one player stood in their way. Dennis even killing the flanker, however. So good propositions for Mousesports to try and retake this very quickly. As they move in, AZ trying to get a bit more aggressive over onto Cap, prevent them from even finding a way into the site. And he wraps around the corner there. Still waits for these guys. And Nico also getting ready to push out, but that's a perfectly timed peek from Alu. A good follow-up nade hits Kiyoshima back over there by Bench. He's down to 41 HP. And keep in mind, too, because his teammate's covering for Cap, regardless of the damage being done to the player at Bench, it was never really going to be fully exposed unless he decided to peek out himself. Even when he did, though, it bought time for Oscar. He moved in, or apologies, it bought time for one of their guys to push back into the market area themselves, where Oscar did go down to it, is what I meant to say. And of course, FaZe at the end of the day will just win this out. Only having one guy on the site, and with how quickly FaZe took control of the site, Mousesports were kind of outmatched from the beginning of that round. A last-ditched attempt to retake it, but they only ended up losing more lives, and I mean, what they carry into this round isn't all that great, especially with how uneven the money is right now. So they're basically just going to roll with that and actually cancel that. They do decide to kind of YOLO buy at the last second here. So they go right into it, and only Dennis is really left with any semblance of cash, which means they're going to risk it. And it's a very interesting choice to do so here. If they would have saved on that one, Granted, their money wouldn't have been great, but they would have been able to try and do FaMas by at least. Now they're going to absolutely win out here. It's a good start from Oscar, but Jacob dropping down catches that trade. There's not really a lot of support in the site. They have to risk it. And again, Nico moving in. He catches one more, but it's only that one kill. It'll be a 3v2. Speedy and Chris J left alive. It's a Scout and a Deagle to clutch against an Op and 2 AKs. Granted, one of those AKs is down at 7 HP, but they're not being given anything. It's very passive style again from FaZe. They're wanting Mousesports to start the initiation themselves, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Speedy moving in, trying to smoke off the retake there from within side of the palace, but as soon as they hear those grenades, perfect timing on these peaks, and again, the Mousesports guys just don't know what hit them. FaZe about 14 rounds. Mousesports' money is just absolutely trashed right now. Dennis is the only player that can even afford a rifle buy. The rest of these guys have to save, considering their losing bonus and the amount of money they still have left over. So it will go into a pause. And assumably, it'll go into a tactical pause right now. Not even assumably. This better be a tactical pause. This is a technical pause now. This would be like really crappy timing for it. But yeah, basically, Mousesports, they're up against the wall, and they need a moment to figure out how the heck to avoid getting wrecked, and how to stop getting 16-7 here on the first map. Again, though, however, the map picks themselves, in case anybody was curious about that one. This time, this was the pick from Mouse, whereas in the last set, it was the pick from FaZe when it got played against Godsent, and this is when FaZe got absolutely wrecked on it. FaZe actually ended up going with the Nuke as their second pick, so that's the map we're going to after this. I know everybody's very excited about that, especially me at like 8 in the morning. And then that last and final map, if we do need to go over to it, is going to be on Overpass. So that'll be fun to jump into things. But we're just waiting for the tac pause to end here. Mousesports really trying to figure this out because like I said, that force buy in the last round just came at a very odd timing, and that, like I said, I'm way too tired due to the actual math in front of me. But as far as I could recall, while they wouldn't have had like great money on this round if they decided to not force buy last time, they would have at the very least had enough to do like FaMas buys and whatnot to try and contest this and play out for the win. But now essentially they're playing for those 8 rounds straight just to take it into OT. And I mean, losing even one of those, of course, just nulls all their efforts, and FaZe will just win the map anyway. And of course, they're not only leading in the score line, but they've also got pretty decent economical status built up too. More than likely looking at 1 or 2 full buy rounds after we would see Mousesports win one. But that's going to be great positioning from Nico, along with a teammate there to push themselves in. There's just P250s, and they've wrecked them early on. Only one trade so far, but Jacob also trying to keep things even. He's handed over an op into the hands of Dennis, but without armor, might be a bit risky depending on how he plays this. He does decide to push out, but not in a way that it would actually catch Jacob. So FaZe will move around, but again, we've got another cheeky position being lined up against Speedy. If he times his peak right, he can stop one more of these guys from getting closer to that B-bomb site. And we've also got AZ kind of stuck out in mid right now. Speedy's moved in, though, and for whatever reason, I have no clue how AZ has not seen this player sneaking all the way past and getting up to this position, but he's still walking right up behind these guys, and they have no clue because of the fact that AZ's position here. They're going to move in, and they've got all the intel. They know they're coming into this B-bomb site. This is going to be a mess for these guys. There's that op that they dropped earlier. Chris J pops back out, and now the hit's dead. AZ's trying to figure out how exactly he can recover this now, but this was so well played from Mousesports. I don't have no clue how AZ didn't spot that player on the flank, and there you go, on P250s. For the most part, Mousesports keep it together, and they will find an 8th round. FaZe have no clue how they flubbed that one, but in comes that reserve cash. Now, like I said, they have enough for 1 to 2 full rebuys after Mousesports would start to pick up rounds, but that op recovery, after they had those 2 guys in crossfire position to punish that early aggression out T-ramp, they recover that, and that op goes off in the final moments of the battle there. He's not going to waste any time, however, on the 8th round here. Just wanting to push themselves back into a position to line up for an A hit very, very quickly. That's what they've done. 3 players in Palace. We do have one sitting down below, waiting for the actual execute to move in. That'll be Dennis. Placing himself here, and the rest of FaZe, they're moving out. Oscar, first kill. Rain responding with one of his own, but it's the player down below they've got to worry about. There's Dennis, spawning his first pickup. They overwhelm him, though. There's a bit of team damage, too, catching AZ a bit off guard, but they do get control. The rest of Mousesports have arrived. And most of them haven't even taken damage at either. Oscar will hold back a little bit there, but AZ watching for his peak very quickly. Will he actually get it? He will. Nicely done, AZ. Great on the timing there. Lines it up against Oscar. Prevents him from catching that op shot. And now Chris J and Speedy. accomplish, but they're smoked out. They don't really have a lot of nades to get back into this site. A single flash on Chris J along with a Molotov to possibly flush a player out if it's used properly, but with 2 out of the 3 remaining players from FaZe sitting back behind T-Ramp, it's going to be very hard to use that Molotov effectively, and I think Mousesports even knows that the odds are too well stacked against them. Considering what they have, it's time to fall back, it's time to give up the round. You need guns for that final encounter, so they're going to let FaZe have this one to get up to 15 rounds.
Terrorists win.
And so with that now, at the 15th round, Mousesports do at the very least get a semi-decent buy. I think Dennis should have a ground. Yeah, there's an M4 sitting on the ground for Dennis. So they are going to get all rifles across the board, and the only person that doesn't even really get utility is Oscar. So this match is not necessarily over yet. Mousesports with those saves do manage to get a semi-decent buy onto the table, but now it's actually about closing the round down. They've had some really good use of aggressive pressure on the CT side, but we need to see more of it here, and that's what they're going to do now. Oscar moving in, looking for Kiyoshima, rounding the corner, and they both line up. Perfectly played by Oscar. Jacob and Kiyoshima are going to go down, and now there's pressure coming up from top mid 2. Nico is going to try to line up some of these. They're all falling down. AZ's eliminated. It's a 2-on-5 all of a sudden. Aloe responds with a little op shot that hits onto these guys, but it's very negligible damage. And all these two, but Rain has failed in his initial peek from the ramp area. Mousesports survived for 1 more round at the very least, and it eats into FaZe's cash a little bit more, possibly to the point where I'm actually not sure if FaZe are going to be able to buy into the 10th round. Aldo is probably just going to go for it, to be honest here. Oh, and he misses that point-blank shot. He gets the correction one on it to take down Nico, but could have been a bit cleaner, unfortunately. So still manages to find that kill, but ultimately goes down. And yeah, here's where the money's a bit rough here for FaZe. So they got a guy sitting at 2.1k, and that's Jacob. The others kind of at a good point, but Kiyoshima also at 2.3k, and Rain at 3,000, which is a really iffy stance. Again, they still have a 6-round cushion, so they'll make the long-term decision here to just try and save up right now and focus on actually closing things out after this, once they can for sure afford that buy-up. It's also very fast from Rain to get us on top here. And again, while they do try to pull off some of the sneakier moves that Mousesports did a few rounds back to upset in their own eco, now they are, for the most part, failing at it. And we can see them being brought down to 3 guys already, with 2 of them still poised to push in. This being Alu, of course, looking for his entry from Palace. That is not necessarily paying direct attention to that, but as Jacob sneaks into the B-bomb site, he's got a job of just trying to make as much noise as possible, and he can't do all that with only 25 HP, no nades. Very quickly, we'll find him going down. There's no rotation called at all. And as well, Dennis from this position is going to be able to hear Alo falling back. So they knew it was a fake. Now it's just a matter of kind of spreading themselves out across these 2 sites and, trying to detect exactly where FaZe have sent this bomb towards. They still have 45 seconds, so plenty of time to execute, but with the presence they have now on mid, there's Oscar. Down goes the bomb. And you look for the final kill as well. Flashbang out. Doesn't really blind Oscar. Thought it did, though, but that's a fatal mistake for AZ. He gets knocked out by Oscar. And the 10th round on the board for Mousesports. That very good save from FaZe, however, now puts them back into the buy situation. And makes this another dangerous round for Mousesports. All this fading away as they continue having to force invest here. Just buying out everything they can. They're starting to get a little bit better, so they're not in danger of being reduced to like FAMASas or just pistol buys anytime soon because of close round encounters. For FaZe themselves, of course, still ultimately in the lead and still just that 1 round away from closing out the map. And FaZe are playing it very, very cautiously once again. All of a sudden, a quick switch up where they seem pretty decisive on the way that they wanted to move towards these sites in the past couple of rounds. Now they've kind of slowed it down once again. For the most part, they're just hanging out, watching for the common aggressive spots from Mousesports' end. We've already got 2 lined up with the bomb over just around that bend from T-Rep. So anybody that immediately pushes out from the CT side won't necessarily find FaZe, but if they decide to fully venture out there, they would get a whole nice little preview of what is to possibly come. And they still also have Jacob and Kiyoshima in the B halls too. whether they're going to try to fake this over towards B or shuffle down through underpass and then join up through mid connectors. Still yet to be seen, but according to Jacob, it looks like he's going to be heading out, so he'll be the one to fake this one. Obviously getting the nade support from Kiyoshima. Kiyoshima himself is going to roll down there. Nico with the early peek. Grabs one, but there's Dennis with the refrag now. Taking down AZ. Still holds the advantage for Mousesports, and that perfectly timed Molotov really has killed this hit. Because now it's buying all this time for rotates. Now can't even safely push out anymore. If he heads out to look for that trade on Dennis, well, in theory, yep, there we go. Oscar, he'll just shut this one down. Eliminates Alu. And leaves only Kiyoshima and Jacob up and running here. Oof, Jacob tries to go for a last second push, but it doesn't play out, and Dennis finds that same sort of story against Kiyoshima. A good idea from FaZe, but unfortunately very slow in the way that it is executed. And with that said, they do end up getting mushed back down here onto another eco. And this will be the tactical pause from FaZe too, because this obviously gets very, very dangerous here. They're being at 11 to 15. There's that very real possibility now for FaZe to lose this lead, for a comeback to happen, and for Mousesports to indeed take it into overtime. And again, big efforts coming out of some of the bigger stars from Mousesports. We've seen Dennis stepping up overall over the past couple of weeks. Nico's kind of been slowing down a little bit, it would seem. But of course, Oscar, as we've kind of come to expect, with him being the more recent pickup from Mousesports onto this team, still shining out and still finding those big frags indeed. But certainly can't underscore the more longer standing members of this team too that have been performing well. Dennis, especially as of late. And Chris J kind of having his moments too earlier on in the match. Like I said, he's gone a bit quiet since the second half has begun, but we're seeing some good stuff from him back over when they were on the T side. To be able to kind of fight back against FaZe as they were struggling. But there's the unpause. And again, FaZe are just going to stick with the eco this time. Money's still a little bit too low to really push it. And they got those few extra rounds to work with still. So deciding to just stick with P250s. AZ buys up utility. That's going to be a smoke and 2 flashbangs. And they will just push. It's going to be a full 5-man push too. This is just going to be like a direct hit into the B site. And with that, we do have the always helpful GoTV lag. But FaZe are going to go for this push here now. And just a huge waterfall movement. This round not really playing off so well. Holy crap, it gets absolutely destroyed. And now it falls to AZ to clutch this out. In a 1v5, peeking out originally. Some of the shots, but ultimately Chris J shuts out the round. But there's the save from FaZe. And now, this is where they go in for the crusher. This is where they pick up the guns. Still no op to be seen, interestingly enough. Not able to get that onto Alu. Money's still not really in that good of a spot yet. And maybe this leads us into a direct play again, possibly. Depending on the way they want to use it now that Alu doesn't have that op. It will still be split. However, Rain pushing himself over towards the T ramp. And quite a few guys out towards mid, so it would actually be very split. Just like a T default for the most part, with it being heavily focused inside of the B push. So 3 guys are here, including the bomb. But we held back for a couple of extra seconds here because of the Molotov, but AZ punishing Oscar early in the round. The first time we've had that happen in quite some time. And it's going to be Speedy and Chris J stacked up on the site. The 2 weaker players for the team, and Speedy's basically just caught in the open. Now it's Chris J up on the boost spot. Oh, but Chris J, here's the bomb going down. He doesn't actually stop it, though. He just lets it go onto the floor, so the timer's begun. Nico moving in, catches that first very good kill against AZ. This also opens the window for more than a push back in, but Dennis loses his first fight. Kiyoshima picking up Nico, and now that position from Chris J to peek out there. It's all alone. He's found 2 kills with it, but he cannot finalize the final 2, and that will end it, guys. FaZe close out map number 1. They'll be 1 more map away from the finals of this qualifier, and possibly their spot at ESL One New York. And with that, guys, Mousesports is going to sink down even more. Congratulations indeed to FaZe. We'll be going to our second map, which will be Nuke here in just a few moments. Be sure to stick around, and we'll be bringing things right back to you guys right here on twitch.tv/ESL_CSGO. Stick around, and we'll be right back with the second map.